Daniel Cole, a 48-year-old mayor of Riverstone Heights, Ontario, had become a symbol of pride for the small industrial town of just over 20,000 residents. A third-generation local, Daniel's grandfather had once worked in the steel factories that powered the community decades earlier. Before entering politics, Daniel built a thriving insurance business, earning a reputation for being hardworking, honest, and deeply committed to his hometown. His political career began in 2018, when he won a seat on the city council. 4 years later, in 2022, he rose to become mayor, running on a promise of economic renewal and community rebuilding. His campaign focused on attracting new businesses, modernizing local infrastructure, and restoring the city's struggling downtown area. Daniel's humble background and his ability to connect with working-class citizens made him widely respected and, to many, the embodiment of Riverstone Heights resilience. At home, Daniel's life seemed just as perfect. He lived with his wife of 22 years, Patricia Cole, and their 2 teenage children in a beautifully restored Victorian house on Maple Street. Patricia worked as a guidance counselor at the local high school and was known for her kindness and active participation in charity work, organizing fundraisers, mentoring students, and volunteering at community events. The Cole family often appeared together at school activities, local parades, and town festivals. To the public, they were the picture of stability and civic devotion. But behind that image, Daniel Cole was hiding a secret. Since early March 2024, he had been involved in an affair with Amira Tan, a 31-year-old Malaysian marketing consultant who had moved to Riverstone Heights just a year earlier. Amira had come to Canada to expand her professional opportunities and start fresh after leaving her job in Kuala Lumpur. She soon opened Tan Creative Strategies, a boutique marketing agency focused on helping small businesses improve their online presence and attract tourism. Her charm, intelligence, and innovative ideas quickly caught the attention of city officials, including Mayor Cole, who often collaborated with her on public development campaigns. Their relationship began purely professional, with meetings about business revitalization and tourism promotion. But by late winter, those meetings had become more personal. Their private discussions at City Hall and nearby restaurants eventually shifted to Amira's downtown apartment, a small but stylish space above a quiet cafe. It offered the privacy they both desired and the convenience of being close to Daniel's office. What started as mutual admiration turned into emotional dependence. By April 2024, Daniel and Amira were in constant contact. Investigators would later uncover more than 1,800 text messages exchanged between them over a few months. Messages filled with affection, longing, and Daniel's repeated promises that he would leave his wife to start a new life with Amira. However, as weeks passed, frustration began to replace hope. Amira grew increasingly disheartened by Daniel's hesitation to make a decision. She worried that their affair was damaging her professional image and creating gossip within the close-knit town. Her once bright and ambitious spirit was now clouded by doubt, torn between love, ambition, and the fear of being exposed. For Daniel, the double life was becoming unbearable. The pressure of maintaining his public image as a devoted mayor and family man, while secretly nurturing an affair, was beginning to take its toll, a dangerous emotional spiral that would soon lead to tragedy. Before we move forward, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We always enjoy hearing your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the latest stories we bring you. The secret affair between Daniel Cole and Amira Tan began to spiral out of control as the 2024 re-election season drew closer. Daniel, the popular mayor of Riverstone Heights, was facing 2 challengers who were actively digging for any scandal that might tarnish his image. For him, even a whisper of an affair could destroy not only his campaign, but also his family and reputation that had taken years to build. For Amira, the stakes were just as high. Many of her marketing clients supported Daniel's political rivals. If word spread about her relationship with the mayor, She could lose her contracts, her credibility, and the business she had worked so hard to establish in Canada. In late July 2024, Amira's life took an unexpected turn when she discovered she was pregnant. Medical records later reviewed by investigators confirmed that she tested positive on July 28th and had scheduled her first prenatal appointment for early August. The news immediately threw both Amira and Daniel into crisis. She knew her pregnancy couldn't remain hidden for long, especially in a small town where gossip spread fast. The timing couldn't have been worse. Daniel was in the middle of his campaign, with every aspect of his personal life under scrutiny. Phone logs later revealed that Amira called Daniel right after learning she was pregnant. Over the next few days, they spoke for hours, discussing what to do and what it meant for their futures. Daniel's initial reaction was panic. He feared the fallout, the collapse of his political career, the loss of public trust, and the possible destruction of his family life. Amira, on the other hand, hoped the pregnancy might finally push Daniel to make a decision, to leave his wife and start a life with her. But Daniel was quick to insist that going public would end everything he had worked for. The two explored desperate options: terminating the pregnancy, moving Amira to another province, even arranging an anonymous adoption to hide the affair entirely. But eventually, Amira made her choice. She wanted to keep the baby. She didn't expect a public relationship, but she did expect Daniel to take responsibility, provide support, and acknowledge his role privately, at the very least. That decision created the breaking point between them. Daniel viewed the pregnancy as an existential threat, one that could destroy his family, his image, and his future. He began quietly researching Canadian paternity laws, financial obligations, and ways to prevent the situation from becoming public. Digital forensic experts would later uncover disturbing searches on Daniel's personal laptop, queries about early pregnancy termination, adoption loopholes, and strategies to discredit individuals who might accuse public officials of misconduct. Even darker searches appeared later in August: accidental deaths, suicide among pregnant women, and handling high-profile death investigations. These chilling discoveries painted a clear picture of a man under pressure, methodically exploring ways to remove a problem he no longer knew how to control. On the night of August 24th, 2024, Amira believed she was meeting Daniel to calmly discuss their future, to set boundaries, decide how to manage the pregnancy, and finalize his involvement. Instead, it would become the meeting that ended her life. That evening, Daniel Cole arrived at Amira Tan's downtown apartment around 7:30 p.m., using his familiar excuse that he had to attend a late-night municipal meeting. At home, he told his wife the session would likely continue past dinner. Inside the apartment, Amira had prepared a quiet meal. She believed they were meeting to talk calmly about their next steps, how they might handle co-parenting, manage their situation privately, and keep things discreet while Daniel's re-election campaign continued. But Daniel had come with something else in mind. Hidden in his briefcase was a .38 caliber revolver, a weapon he usually kept locked in his home office for personal safety. According to evidence later presented in court, the discussion turned tense. Within minutes, Daniel fired 2 close-range shots, both striking Amira in the chest. The injuries were instantly fatal. She showed no signs of defensive struggle, suggesting she never saw it coming. Investigators later determined the shots were fired while both were seated at her dining table, where the remains of their interrupted meal were still present. After the shooting, Daniel tried to stage the scene as a burglary gone wrong. He broke a back window, scattered items from drawers, and took Amira's laptop and some jewelry to make it appear as if theft was the motive. However, his attempt at deception quickly unraveled. Forensic experts later discovered gunshot residue on his hands and clothing, proving he had fired the weapon himself. Cell tower data placed Daniel's phone near Amira's apartment at the exact time of her death, directly contradicting his story about being at a city council meeting. Nearby security cameras also captured footage of his distinctive vehicle parked close to the apartment building that evening. The following morning, August 25, 2024, Amira's close friend and business associate, Jasmine Lim, arrived to check on her after she failed to show up for a client meeting. The apartment door was unlocked. When Jasmine entered, she found Amira's body on the floor and immediately called the police. At first, investigators treated the case as a robbery-homicide. But Detective Robert Chun of the Riverstone Heights Police Department quickly noticed inconsistencies. The broken glass had fallen outward, not inward, and expensive electronics were left untouched. While digging into Amira's background, Detective Chun discovered her frequent communication with Mayor Daniel Cole. Thousands of text messages between the two revealed not only a personal relationship, but also deep emotional entanglement. The volume and nature of their exchanges immediately made the mayor a prime suspect. When questioned, Daniel admitted knowing Amira professionally but denied any romantic involvement. He insisted that their contact was limited to city marketing projects. However, forensic analysis of both their phones told a very different story, one filled with intimate messages, personal photos, and discussions about their shared future. The investigation deepened when police obtained Amira's medical records, confirming her pregnancy. This revelation established a clear motive. The pregnancy threatened to expose their affair just as Daniel's campaign was reaching its most critical stage. Ballistics experts matched the bullets recovered from Amira's body to Daniel's registered firearm, the same revolver found in his office during a search. Gunshot residue tests came back positive, confirming his direct involvement. On September 8, 2024, authorities arrested Mayor Daniel Cole at his home in front of his wife and two teenage children. He was charged with first-degree murder, evidence tampering, and conspiracy to obstruct justice. The arrest sent shockwaves through Riverstone Heights, a community that had viewed Cole as a devoted husband, father, and public servant. His downfall shattered that image overnight. Daniel's wife issued a short public statement expressing her heartbreak and asking for privacy for her family. Within days, she filed for divorce and moved out of the province with their children to live with relatives. The case drew intense media coverage across Northbridge City due to Daniel Harrison's status as an influential Canadian-born mayor and the shocking contrast between his respected image and the grim reality of his crime. Political commentators speculated that the scandal would have long-lasting effects on public trust in upcoming local elections. Harrison maintained his not guilty plea, insisting that Amira Tan's death was the result of a heated argument that tragically escalated, not a premeditated act. His defense attempted to portray the shooting as an emotional outburst rather than a deliberate attempt to protect his reputation and political future. However, the prosecution presented a very different story. Digital forensics revealed Harrison's recent internet searches about quick ways to make a death look like a burglary and how to erase gunpowder residue. This, along with his staged crime scene, made it clear that the act had been planned, not impulsive. Further revelations during the trial uncovered evidence of misuse of city funds, including expenses for luxury hotel stays and private dinners that Harrison had shared with Amira during their secret relationship. These findings led to additional charges of corruption and abuse of office. Witnesses and family members spoke about the deep emotional toll the case had taken on Harrison's wife and children and on Amira's Malaysian family, who were devastated to learn of both the affair and her pregnancy only after the investigation began. Their testimonies highlighted how one man's selfish decisions destroyed multiple lives. After 14 hours of jury deliberation, Daniel Harrison was found guilty on all counts, including first-degree murder, corruption, and tampering with evidence. He received a life sentence without the possibility of parole, along with consecutive terms for his other offenses. Amira Tan's funeral was attended by hundreds of mourners who remembered her as a brilliant entrepreneur and compassionate woman whose life was stolen too soon. In her honor, her family established the Emiratan Women in Business Scholarship, supporting young women in Malaysia pursuing leadership and entrepreneurship. Following the conviction, the City Council of Northbridge appointed an interim mayor and introduced strict new measures for government transparency and ethics training. The scandal became a turning point in the city's political culture, emphasizing the need for integrity among public officials. Harrison is currently serving his sentence at Ridgefield Correctional Facility, where he continues to file appeals. Though legal experts agree his chances of success are minimal given the overwhelming forensic evidence. The case remains a sobering reminder of how unchecked ambition and personal deceit can spiral into irreversible tragedy. It stands as a warning about the cost of moral failure and the lasting damage caused when leaders misuse public trust. In the aftermath, Patricia Harrison, Daniel's wife, relocated with their children, Michael and Sarah, to rebuild their lives. The children have since continued their education with strong support from extended family and counseling. Patricia herself has become a counselor and advocate, speaking publicly about the impact of domestic betrayal and political corruption on families.